Good evening, students. This is Spark Academy, which gives you nice information regarding the EAMCET, JEE means in all the subjects. So try to go through all the subjects, all the topics from this academies which is presenting to you, which you have to present in the main examinations. Would be useful. Not simply that we don't get these topics in other books and other channels also. There is a difference here. What I mean through that is, we know the projectile motion. What does this mean? Projectile motion is in EAMCET and JEE means I am talking about. See here, we know that here the projectile motion is when it is coming like this. The first question, what I want to ask is, on x-axis in the exam, suppose if they change the question, whether the x-coordinate is time or distance, y-coordinate is distance or time, like that they will be giving. So first in any graph, try to understand the x, this is x-coordinate is horizontal distance in this case, and y-coordinate is vertical distance. So what is this theta here? The angle through which the object has been projected. Let us take this as the initial velocity u. Clear? We don't require derivations in anything, but to understand a question, we require the derivations. We need to understand, we don't need to derive, but immediately while deriving, how to read I am telling you. These formulas also you know it. See here, let us take, this is x is equal to 0. At what time t is equal to 0? Y is equal to 0. So what I mean is I am defining the origin. X equal to 0, y equal to 0, time is equal to 0. That means that the time where is taken the reference as the point object projected with an initial velocity u at an angle theta. Clear? Now when it comes here, what is the distance traveled maximum horizontal distance is referred as what? Range. And what is the value of y coordinate here again? 0. Understood? So that means here y coordinate 0, y coordinate 0. And in this, what is the time it takes? Capital T. So in this, if you go through all these things, formulas directly we know it. But what is x here? X we have to define now. How to define that x means here? This x I am writing here. Theta. What is this? U cos theta. And what is this? U sin theta. So that means here the velocity has been resolved into two components, u cos theta, u sin theta. What you have to read while going through the book is acceleration due to gravity. Here also you must write always the acceleration due to gravity. Why? Because the x surface is perpendicular to this acceleration. X surface is perpendicular to the horizontal displacement. In the direction of y, vertical displacement is along, g is along vertically downwards. So while writing the equations, we know the formula, one formula I will write here. V is equal to u plus at. And this method, what is V velocity? Which direction velocity you have to take? That while reading only you have to observe. One thing we know, these are vectors. The moment vector comes, all must be in the same direction. If one velocity is not in the other direction, then you have to go through the components. That is what we will be doing here. See here, this formula will be first along x-axis. I am writing. X-axis along y-axis. Clear? One is along x-axis, the other is along y-axis. Along x-axis, if you take Vx is equal to ux plus ax into t. And what is this? Vy is equal to uy plus ay into t. What I mean this is, when you take velocity along y direction, initial velocity also along the same direction, ay acceleration along y direction only you have to take. Here also same thing, vx along x-axis. What is ux along x-axis? What is ax along x-axis? So here in this problem, there is no acceleration in this direction along x-axis. Why I have to write 0 means, that means suppose there is any wind blowing along x-axis, you have to take this ax also. Suppose by chance, if this projectile is going on any truck or it has any initial velocity along horizontal direction, you have to take consider that also. Clear? So in now we don't have acceleration along this direction. So Vx is equal to, what is ux? You should not take u cos theta. Plus, don't forget writing 0 into t. Why 0? That means whenever there is any acceleration along x-axis, in the case of projectile motion I am talking, then you will get the idea of substituting here. Very simply the formula you will remember. Understood? So again I am repeating, why you have taken these things. Vx is equal to u cos theta plus 0 into, what I mean by this 0 means there is no acceleration along x-axis, that is 0. Therefore this is 0. If you write 0 you will understand that. So Vx is equal to, and what is Vy? Vertical velocity. What is Uy? U sin theta. U sin theta is upwards. If you take upwards plus, downwards will be minus. All of you know this formula. Clear? All of you know this formula. So that means here in this problem, these are the two identities which we got it from this formula, famous formula V is equal to U plus A. Clear? Similarly, if you take along x-axis, x-axis is what? U cos theta into t, plus there is no acceleration along x-axis. Therefore, x is equal to into t. Similarly, if you take this y is equal to u sin theta into t. Understood? So that means here, these are the two formulas along x-axis, these are along y-axis. Remember, in along y-axis means gravity is there. So u sin theta upwards, gravity downwards, therefore this minus. Again I am repeating one point here. G is the acceleration perpendicular to x. Why? Because if there is any inclined surface problems, then you take component of G perpendicular to inclined surface. I am repeating again. If you take G, this is along vertical direction. It is perpendicular to this horizontal direction, horizontal surface. Suppose if there is any inclined surface, then you have to, I will tell that also. Understood this point? I am rubbing on this. These formulas you know it. Now, okay, now I will write one thing. From origin, it has come to some point P, and here let us take this as an angle phi. Phi is the angle made by the direction with the horizontal direction. That means here after a time t it has come to this point. So that means to get tan alpha, tan phi is equal to what you have to take. This is important point. Again I am repeating. If you take this tan phi in this, tan phi is equal to, should we write that y by x or which one we have to take? This dot definitely majority will be getting. This is not only in this projectile motion, horizontal projection, and in another case where the bomb explodes from an altitude, there also you will be getting like this. So doubt is whether we have to use this formula or this formula. My point understood? I am rubbing out this. So whether to use this or this. So see here, what is phi means in this given case, or you have to understand always the phi is the angle made by the velocity, means you should not use this. Or else the question is, what is the angle made by the projectile? What is the angle made by the projectile with respect to horizontal direction? Then this you cannot use this. Clear? Then you have to use only this one, tan phi is equal to, this is correct. What is V phi? U sin theta minus G into T. What is T here? Time, I will tell that. What is Vx? U cos theta. This you will be getting like this. So here what we will be getting? Tan phi now see here, once if you get this, the formula you can apply unless you know these things, you will never get idea from the statement. Remember one thing, in all topics, whether this is the formula is there, you will never get idea for this unless you know all these things. Why? Because what is T? Simply time only, but what is T means here? The time taken to change the angle from theta to phi. Again I am repeating. What is T means? Time taken for the projectile to change the angle from theta to phi. That is T. Unless you have all these things, it is difficult to solve problems. Understood? One more point. Previously I have drawn this one. So now I want the range of the projectile. Range and also what is the time of flight, capital T. Now to get time of flight means what is time of flight? The time taken by the projectile to go from origin to this point. T is the time, capital T, the time taken for the projectile to go from origin to this point. So that means what is the origin? Well, y coordinate 0. But after time capital T also, what is the origin? Y coordinate 0. Therefore, to derive this, what we will do? Y is equal to if I take this at T is equal to capital T means what is the value of Y? Understood? Like these equations you must be able to understand. Clear? Simple formula we know directly. Why? Because if you apply this in other problems, unless you get this idea at t is equal to capital T. The y coordinate is 0 from this. So you must practice like this. Reading. So t is equal to, so that means y is equal to 0 u sin theta into t minus half t square. So taking this half, so what will get t is equal to understood? This is the time of. So that means time of ascent from here to here is the time of ascent is equal to time of descent, same model. Yeah. So what you have done here, you have taken this equation. In that equation, to get time of flight, t is the capital T, the time taken to move from origin to this point. So that means origin is this up to this point. So that means here y is 0. Substituting this, we got this. So this all these idea you must remember for if any case if it is given in another problems, its applications. Yeah. Now here range I want. Range means what? At x is equal to, or how much time it takes to go to that distance. It takes up to this point. So that means we will use this one into t. So we will substitute that here. X is equal to r u cos theta into t. What is t? Time of flight. What is time of flight? So r is equal to u square to sin theta cos theta by g. So this is understood. So that means we get range is u square by g. So here for r to be maximum, what should be maximum right side term? Maximum. So that means this is equal to how much? 1. So therefore 2 theta is that means when the angle of projection is 45 degrees, so definitely it will go to the maximum range. When the angle of projection is 45 degrees, it will go to the maximum range. Understood this point? Derivation not required in exam, but the way you derive in the wordings will make you to understand this when a given question, what formula you have to apply, that will be deciding factor. Clear? Now we have written this y is equal to understood? That means what does this mean here? Quadratic in t means What is quadratic? It is what does it mean? Quadratic inting means two values of understood? So see here, mathematically any question you will know very easily. Quadratic in T means, why is the quadratic in T means there are two values of time intervals are there, for which there is only one value of 5. Now we want to apply that here. Simply not writing equation, we must know where to apply this formula. Formula will be never a problem. Where you have to apply that you must write. Understood? So that again I am repeating. We know this equation. We have to find out what does this mean. It means there are two values of time intervals for which there is only one value of 5. How to get that means, sir? How to get that means, sir? Here it should be what? Then that means here, this is the value of y for which there are two time intervals. Understood? So that means we'll take y is equal to, here y is equal to HI. So h is equal to so we'll write 2h is equal to this is of the form this is a parabolic equation. Therefore, the equation of the projectile is parabolic with respect to time also. So AXL. So that means this is the equation. And it has roots now. What are the roots here? What are the roots means here? Sum of the roots. This is T1. T1 plus T2. T1 plus sum of roots is equal to what? Minus B by A. What is minus B by A? Minus B means how much? By A is what? This. This will be equal to how much? But what is this again? Time of flight. Understood? How you got time of flight again same for the same thing? What? Yeah. One more point here. Product attributes also I will write. Is equal to C by A. So sum of the roots 2u minus B by A. Product attribute is C by A. So that means here, when you take this, a projectile reaches a point time T1, and from here to here it takes how much time to reach here? T2. So when this is from here to here T1 and this entire thing is T2, this is also how much? T1 only. So therefore T2 is from entire thing, T2 plus T1 is time of flight. product of the roots is A by Z to H plus. What is H? H is the same factor for both the time intervals. Understood? Just look this. I am having a now we have written what y is equal to this is what quadratic in t. Now we know that t is also equal to what? Understood? Now this is a quadratic in x. Quadratic in x means what does this mean? There are, for a single value of theta, there are two values of x for the same value of y. For a single angle of projection, there are two x values for the same value of y. That means same thing. So, what is x1 is equal to t1. It takes time t1 to come here. It takes time t2 to come to here. So, x2 is equal to what? U cos theta into t2. So, what is x2 minus x1 is equal to u cos theta. So, this is delta x is equal to what? In exam, they may ask you the graph connected between delta x, difference in the x coordinate with respect to time interval. Then it is what y is equal to mx plus c. Just like this. So, unless you understand these things, it is difficult to apply in the questions. Understood? Now, here, this is in quadratic x we are written. Now, any doubt in this? Once again I am explaining. Y is equal to u sin theta into t minus half t square. T is equal to this. Y is equal to x tan theta minus half g into this entire thing. So x1 quadratic in x means two values of x for which there is a single value of x, that is this. So x1 is equal to u in cos theta into t1. x2 is equal to u cos theta into 2. What is the time interval that it takes to come to here means what? Delta x is delta. Delta t is t2 minus 2. That's it. Clear? I am wrapping up this. Okay. Again same equation. By G. Now here it implies if you take same value of y and what does this mean? That means here if you take a point P, there are two angles for a given, quadratic engineering for a given value of x and y. There are of projection. See here, this all of you try to visualize. Then I will give 10 seconds. Visualize, I am asking. Because we know this equation. We know this equation. But one is quadratic in x, y have seen. Similarly, the other is for a given value of x and y, there are two angles of projections. Means what does it mean? You visualize. Understood? What is same and another value that is same is what? U. U is also same. For a given value of u, x, u, for a given values of u, x and y. That means u, x, y are not constant. You should say it as same. Don't use the word constant here. Same. Clear? They are same. Any doubt in this? Read this point. All of you. This equation we know, but what it is its meaning? This is the meaning. Clear? Read this statement. Understood? Now I will explain this point. So what does this mean? Means u is same, y is same means if you take, this is theta 1, if you take another angle, it will also come like this. What is this angle of projection? Theta 2. So there are two angles, theta 1 and theta 2, for which the point of intersection x, y is same. Both are projected with what angles? U. That is this meaning. Remember, always try to understand equations like this one, this diagram, because in the exam they make you diagram. So if the point if it comes here, its value is x. The point if it comes here, it is value is y. Same way. What is same? Understood? Any doubt in this? Like this, one more. Quadratic in theta I have written here, but both should be inside tan theta 1. So y is equal to x tan theta I have written, minus quadratic in tan theta. I will convert it into quadratic in tan theta. So that means here, what is cos square theta? So that means the equation is this: gx square constant theta minus why all these things are required? To know that this is a tan square minus b tan theta. That means what is A? Constant. Gx constant is at the same point of this, I told you, x. And this term is also constant. U also constant. This also constant. That is what we mean. Understood this point? Any doubt in this? Clear? So like this you have to read. Now we will get into one problem. Here, a particle is projected from the ground with an initial speed of v at an angle theta with horizontal. The average velocity of the particle between its point of projection and the highest point of projectile. Try to understand this in 10 seconds. I am giving you 10 seconds. Here, now you take time. Now, what does this mean? This here, problem is this. This is the projectile. At this point, this is the highest point. This is the origin. This is the point. So the question is average velocity between these two. What is the average velocity formula? Average is equal to total displacement by total time. So average velocity I am writing like this. Average velocity. Total displacement is what? This is height and this is half of the range. So square root of h square plus r by 2 whole square by time of flight, how much? Half of the time of flight. So this will be 2 into root of 4h square plus r square by 2 square is 2r. So it will be root of from the reading, unless you decide, you can't understand all this problem. Always reading with an understanding of the problem is a must. Therefore, you read each point like that, construct diagram on your own, then you check into the solution. Understood? Always after reading a problem, draw a diagram of your own. What was the question? You check it, then you compare that with this during practice. Clear? So this, now I will work this. So here what is the average velocity here? Average velocity is what? Root of 4h square plus r square by t. Clear? So what is 4h square is what? Maximum height u square theta by 2g. What is r square? U square sin 2 theta whole square by what is time of flight? Clear? So maximum height is u square sin square theta by 2g plus range is u square sin 2 theta by g. And here this is 2 square gets cancelled. And here we can take u square common, it comes out. Root of by g square, it comes out as g. And what is this u square by g has come out? Now sin 2 theta is what? Sin 2 theta is what? 2 sin theta cos theta whole square. Okay? So that means this gets cancelled. Sin theta remains. So it will be, the sin theta gets cancelled with this. So u by 2 into root of 1 plus 4 then here. This is also most difficult to understand. It's diagram. Then question will be asked. Be solved. If at a point of projection the velocity of a particle is u and it's directed at an angle alpha to the horizontal, then show that it will be moving at right angles to its initial direction at right angle. Most difficult one. See here, this is the question is this one. It is projected like this. It is going like this. Initial direction. After how much time its direction will be like this, so that the angle is 90. This is the diagram, very difficult to understand. Clear? This is important. Again, I will draw this. Initial velocity, angle of projection. Now the question is somewhere here. This velocity is perpendicular to its initial direction of motion. That is theta how much? This is like it is most difficult to get the idea of diagrams from these type of problems. You have to practice reading this. That is what I mean reading this. Not solving. Reading with an understanding of the problem, only then will be useful. Clear? So I will solve it. I am wrapping up this one. As I said here, this is after a time t velocity is in the equation. This is at t is equal to 0. Understood? So that means now here in at t is equal to 0. The components are what? This we know. Now we will convert that in terms of vectors. Gravity downwards. So u cos theta into I cap, u sin theta into j. Now at t is equal to 0, this is u sin theta into g, this is where written now. So what is u bar is equal to? Now, after time interval t, wait a minute. Now, since u bar and v bar are perpendicular, how we know? It is given. So u bar dot v bar is equal to 0. That means what it will be? U cos theta into u cos theta plus u sin theta into this. On solving, what you will get? Cos square theta plus minus g, because u square gets cancelled. So what it will be? What? 1 minus u square, 1 u will be there. Okay? You have to read like this. So we'll meet in the next session with more explanation in the concept. Good night. Good evening.